I am so excited about this show today. A lot of you have been following our social media platforms, and you have seen that LuLu Roman, famous for Hee Haw, and just a great gospel singer, she is on the show today. So let's welcome LuLu. How are you doing, LuLu?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am wonderful, and we're just so excited to have you.
Thank you.
Let's see. So. Well, what all are you up to today, just to catch up some listeners? What all is...
At this very moment, I'm walking out of Walmart.
Well, that's good.
I promised my son we'd make Christmas cookies tonight, so
well, there you go.
We came to Walmart to get the
goods. Well, that's good. That's awesome.
Yes.
So I find what I'm so excited about is that in 2019, you're going on something called the Cornfield Friends Tour.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. That's exciting.
Well, that's those of us who are left. It will be me and Janice J. and Buck Trent, and then they'll have guests, come in from time to time too. And we've got a pretty good little show. We do.
That's so much fun. Have y'all done one together yet?
Yes, we have.
Okay.
I think we've done one.
Yeah. Well, that's exciting. I know a lot of people will want to go see that.
Yeah.
Now, you also have a new book coming out.
I do.
Tell us about that.
We're shooting for January, maybe end of January, 1st of February. It's a life story, and it's going to be called "This Is My Story, This Is My Song."
Blessed assurance.
LuLu Roman.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love that.
Thank you.
So it's just you writing about your life and
it's a biography.
Okay.
I wrote one back in the 80s, and it was kind of sparse, shall we say. And this one is a little more. Shall we say it delves a little deeper?
Yeah.
You get more of the story, you know.
Do you share any of your testimony in this book?
Oh, yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's mainly what it is.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. I love that you had a transformation and you found Jesus, and it's so cool to hear your testimony. So, with that being said, we for those that don't know, LuLu has recorded many albums and many gospel albums.
28 now, maybe close to 30.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
Yeah, thank you.
And I love your gospel stuff. I'm telling you, that's
thank you.
I guess I forget what year it was, but it was several years ago. I was flipping through the TV and I stopped on the Gaither homecoming stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And there you are. Now, how
big as life?
it was? You were. I mean, your voice just sounded so cool on that. I don't know if it was. It's like you get better and better. Like it's
oh, thank you so much.
So, what was it like to be on the Gaither homecoming and get to know those folks?
It was wonderful because you knew every time you walked in that room, honey, you were going to get in the presence of God. You were.
Wow.
And you always, when you get an opportunity to really be in a place where the Spirit of the Lord just falls, you know, boy, it's life-changing every time, honey.
Hey,
it is.
You're right. And
it is.
I used to be a youth pastor. And
cool.
So I've done music, gospel, and Christian contemporary. So the feel the power of the Spirit is something that it's just you want everybody to experience.
And it's something that you just want to do over and over and over again.
Yeah. It's you don't get tired of it, no doubt.
You don't.
So, how did you become a cast member of Hee Haw?
Well, I was rumbling around in Dallas, Texas. I grew up in an orphan's home, and got out and just kind of went crazy. Went to work for the telephone company.
Yeah.
Got fired because I had such a lovely vocabulary.
Oh.
And just found myself kind of wandering the streets of Dallas. Didn't really know what I was doing or where I was going to go. Or, I never dreamed for a second that God had any plans for my life.
Wow.
This was a, quote, religious organization that we grew up in. And most of us were just, all we want to do is just get out and get away.
Yeah.
And I was like everybody else. I never thought for a second that God had any kind of plans for my life.
Right.
And boy, I'll tell you what, you need to know God has plans for your life.
Mm-hmm.
If you draw breath, God has plans for your life. He does.
That's right.
It's up to you to make that choice for your life, to have God in your life and allow him to do what he will do.
That's right.
And that's what makes the difference, honey. It is.
That's right.
It surely is. And how to get on. Yeah, okay. Yes, okay. She's having to remind me. I wander.
Well,
I'm 72 years old and I wander sometimes.
You're still young.
I met a lot of entertainers. I worked in the Dallas nightclubs for a while.
Yeah.
And met a lot of entertainers, and I met a cowboy named Buck. And we got to be good friends. He got to be better friends with one of my friends. They almost got married.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, when they put together the idea of Hee Haw, they had made a list, and it consisted of something like one gorgeous blonde and one gorgeous brunette.
Yeah.
One fat dumb man, one fat dumb woman. And Buck said, I got your girl. She's in Dallas. So they took his word for it. And the next thing I knew, he was on the phone and he said, just sit down and shut up and listen to me. And he said, there's a couple of guys in California. They're going to do this kind of a country and western type laughing. And said, they're going to call it Hee Haw. And I said, he what? And he said, Hee Haw. And I said, he what? And he said, Hee Haw, Lou, like a donkey. You know, and I said, well, all right. I was not into country music, honey. I was a hippie kid.
Oh, wow.
I ate LSD and ran around in water fountains. And, boy,
wow.
I had no idea where I was going.
Yeah.
But he called me on the phone one night and said, just, sit down, listen to me. He said, they're going to do this thing. And he said, you need to be in Nashville at a certain time. So, I slammed that phone down and hung up and called that American Airlines, and they had a ticket for me.
You got to be kidding.
I was, well, of course, nobody knew what any of this was then.
Right.
But I knew Buck was never a man to tell stories or untruths or whatever. So,
and
by golly, I was on that airplane Monday morning.
And tell us who Buck is, Lulu.
Buck Owens.
That's right.
Buck is one of the dearest friends I had in all of my life. He
Wow.
really was. He was absolutely precious. He used to tell me, he said, you are the funniest girl I've ever seen. And he said, one of these days, you're going to be a big star and I'm going to have something to do with it. And I'd thump that cowboy hat and say, keep talking, baby. Well, I never had any idea, but he sure did.
Yeah.
And sure enough, they called me and I flew to Nashville and was wandering around the studios there thinking, what is this? Because this was all country music. I was not into country music.
That's something.
And I got real country real quick. First time I got that paycheck.
Yeah.
I turned into a real country girl. And then through the years, what I did was I learned to love the people.
Yeah.
And then I learned to love the music. So I did it kind of backwards.
Wow.
But it worked out great. It did. And will be 50 years this next year, honey.
Oh my
50
goodness.
years that Hee Haw's been on, with reruns and everything.
That's
and,
unreal.
We just never had an audience of this kind that have been so faithful and so true. and so wonderful. I mean, everywhere I go, people, say I sit with my grandma or my grandpa or my mom and my daddy, and I watched you. First I used to say, I'm so sorry. Now I'm that tendency to say, thank you so much.
That's right. Yeah, what a blessing.
But, it's been a major blessing. It has. And I wasn't saved when I first went on Hee Haw. I was on about 5 years before I came to know the Lord. I was pretty messed up with drugs and got busted a couple of times and was looking at spending a lot of time in the penitentiary. And the Lord just took the drugs away, took even the judge who gave me a probated sentence on all those drug charges, someone said to him, why did you give her probation? Because, see, they told me I'd been on probation twice before. I'd been busted twice for drugs. And they said, why did you do that? And he said, I honestly do not know why. And all the people in my church who were praying, they knew exactly why. Wow. They did. God just, he just took control of the whole situation and took the drugs away from me and took the drug charges. And, and it'll be 50 years this next year that I've been really blessed to get to sing and travel and tell people about the Lord. And I love it.
Oh, I bet you do. It. That's great. I mean, you can tell in your voice. You can tell.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Well, give us one of your favorite memories from being on the set that long. What's a couple?
Oh my goodness, there's so many. One of the ones that I loved because it was a continuous thing, and poor Kenny, he didn't stop to think about it. But Kenny Price was a big man, and they called him the Round Mound of Sound. And he had this great big trunk and these little tiny skinny legs. I kind of am like that myself. They used to kid me about skinny legs, but he would stand up there at that judge's thing, and Archie would hit that gavel, and then pop him over the head. And he'd no sooner get started to talk, those pants would just start easing down. And before he got through to the end of the joke, those pants would be on the floor, and there he'd be standing in his boxer shorts with everybody screaming and laughing. And it just happened over and over and over for years.
That's hilarious.
It was very funny. It was. And then another one was, they'd hit Archie in the head with that rubber chicken, and he wore a toupee, and that thing would just stand straight up. And it was hysterical. They didn't want to show that on the show too much because he didn't like that. But I mean, when they hit him, that hairpiece would just stand up and stay up. It was hysterical.
Oh my goodness, that's
there
hilarious.
were so many funny things on there.
I love that. Did y'all ever have to take retake after retake because you couldn't quit laughing?
Oh yeah. When Junior first got on, he was totally illiterate, and he couldn't read or write even one. So they hit him with as many 5 and 6 syllable words that they could. And one time, you may remember, I don't know, they had many takes of him trying to say trigonometry. And he never got it. And then they finally brought Roy, and this is after about, a month worth trying to get him said.
Yeah.
And Roy said, okay, Junior, read my lips. And Roy said, trig. And Junior said, trig. And Roy said, oh. And Junior said, oh. And so they went on through the whole word. And at the end of it, Roy said, trigonometry. And Junior said, trigonometry. He never got it.
Bless his heart.
Never did.
Oh, man. What was one of your favorite skits that you were a part of?
Oh, I loved the truck slug.
Oh, yeah.
I called her the truck slug.
Yeah.
Because not only did I got to eat, I got to throw food.
Yeah.
And that was more fun.
Oh, yeah. That's hilarious. I remember that.
It was.
I know you mentioned Buck, but is there anyone else that you really enjoyed working with?
Dub Taylor. I loved Dub Taylor. He was an old-time movie star. Mm-hmm. And he wore this little beanie kind of hat-looking thing, And he was so funny. I mean, he'd come in the morning, and all day long people would just be laughing because you couldn't help but laugh at him just by the way he talked. But he was a funny little fella, and he made everybody laugh. He did.
Man, I guess, and so What was like a lot of times us as fans, we see what's on TV or someone on stage, and we always wonder, are they really the same way? And so I have to ask, is Minnie Pearl who we really thought she was, the sweet, funny gal?
Yes, she is. She sure was. Minnie was precious. She was a very sophisticated lady.
Really?
Okay. And when she took, let me see if I'm trying to say this backwards. When she took that hat off from being the Minnie Pearl character,
right,
she turned back into Sarah Ophelia Cannon. And she was very smart and very studied. And, she wasn't really funny when she was just being, Sarah.
Yeah.
But when she put that hat on and she turned into Minnie Pearl, she'd turn people upside down laughing. She was wonderful. And she held the character all day long.
Really?
She did. We'd go to lunch and she'd still be Minnie Pearl. But when she took that dress off now, she became Sarah Ophelia Cannon.
Wow.
I love hearing wonderful. That. She was so absolutely cool. Precious. We used to, kind of towards the end of it, the girls knew that we kind of felt like it was fixing to go off. They never really told us. We just woke up one Monday morning and saw it on TV that had been taken off. But we kind of felt like we knew it was coming. And so we would take Minnie to lunch and just listen to her stories. Mm. And she told us the greatest stories. She did. I'll never forget that.
Yeah. And
as long as I live.
Treasures.
Yes.
And
so much.
One of your good buddies is another living legend, of course, is Miss Dolly Parton.
Yes. I love Dolly.
Now, she recorded with you, right, on this last album?
She did. She sang, she sure did. Yeah. She sang "I Will Always Love You" with me. Mm-hmm. She's precious.
Oh, I bet she is. She's hilarious. I could listen to her.
And we're the same age. We are.
Yeah.
And I have a good time telling her she's 5 months older than me.
Oh, man, that's hilarious. Yeah. I wanted to ask you about that. And so the song, I was just listening before we got on the phone. I was listening to a song called "Orphan Girl."
Yes.
LuLu, that's powerful.
Thank you. That's kind of my go-to song. I've adopted it. I first heard it, Emmylou Harris sang it. Now, I'm a big Emmylou Harris fan.
Oh yeah.
And when I heard it, it moved me so much that I just thought that's my song. That's my heart. That's my life. Mm-hmm. And so I open everything I do with "Orphan Girl." I do.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, it's your latest record is called "At Last," and
we've done one since then.
Oh,
that was kind of a little bluegrass type thing. We did several things that were bluegrass, but we didn't get the release. What do you call it with that one, where they really got to get it out there?
Yeah.
But "At Last" is the one that most people know about, and I had the best time doing that, honey. I did, because that's all my old classic and old standard favorites, that I got to sing. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was looking at the track listing. That's awesome that you picked those songs.
Thank you. I love them.
Now you make me want to go hear the bluegrass, because I love bluegrass. I tell you.
Cool. It's called "Heavenly Heartstrings."
Heavenly Heartstrings. Okay, I'm writing that down, because I'm gonna go listen to it.
Okay.
Well,
it's online. Cam's got you got it up there, don't you, honey? Okay. Cool.
Well, LuLu, let me ask you this, and we'll close up the conversation.
Okay.
You became a household name, and you still are a household name. I was telling some of my buddies.
Oh, Lord, have
mercy! Yeah, I was telling some friends of mine that I was having. I just said one word, and I said LuLu on the show, and they go, and every one of them says LuLu Roman. So you're one of those names that you can say just the first name, and people know who you are, and that's pretty special.
Thank you.
It
is. Yeah, it is.
If there was a Mount Rushmore, LuLu, of the greatest artists that came on your show, Hee Haw, who are the four that right now you would throw up on a Mount Rushmore of Hee Haw?
Oh, that's a great question, honey. Nobody's ever asked me that.
Yeah.
Okay, Dolly Parton.
Yeah.
Okay. Sammy Davis Jr.
Oh.
Let me think.
Good pick.
let me think. Thinking of voices here, probably Conway and Loretta.
Oh man, those are good picks.
Yeah,
those are real good picks. I interviewed T. Graham Brown last week.
Oh, I love T.
Yeah.
Oh, I love him.
Now he recorded with you.
He's awesome.
Oh yeah, and
he sang with me. He did. He sang "You Are So Beautiful."
That's what I saw. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But he put Conway Twitty on the Mount Rushmore as well, and Loretta. So yeah, I love that y'all picked those two.
I love it.
That's a good question, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Oh well, Lulu, you have been a joy and a delight.
Thank you so much.
And we're so excited about the Cornfield Friends Tour. That's going to be fun. And guys, you can look that up, and it's Cornfield with a K.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cornfield with a K, the Cornfield Friends Tour. Check out where they're going. And also you can look up, be on the lookout for her new book. And that's going to be a great book. I can't wait to read about your life.
Thank you so much, honey. Thank you.
Well, Lulu, have a wonderful Christmas.
Oh, and you too, honey. Thank you so much.
All right. And we'll talk to you later.
Okay. You be blessed, honey. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.